Hi and welcome to the Toon Goons, the podcast in which we take an adult and critical perspective into the world of cartoons and animation and analyze how they affect the pop cultural landscape at large, as well as celebrate the positive aspects in animation and culture at large. The tagline is now too long, but it's something that we wanted to highlight in this new world that we're all stuck living in after the events of the last episode. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki.
I'm one of your hosts, Nina.
Yeah, before I wanted to get that in there. Like, after all the shit that happened earlier this November, 2016, we figured, like, I don't want to say that what we do is important, but the kind of stuff that we talk about and that we focus on is important.
And I just like the idea of putting something out there into the world that I think is good and healthy and loving and not hateful and bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that came across organically. It was never our goal. Like, one of our goals was, we're going to talk about stuff we like in terms of stuff that shows that we focus on. As much as I like that kind of negative criticism, like it's like Anton Ego said, it's fun to read, it's fun to write. But it's not what I wanted to do with this show, and I think the sentiment was shared among all of us when we started. And then what we gravitated towards was just embracing the positive aspects and the progressive aspects of the stuff that we talk about. And it just so happened that we started the show just as Steven Universe premiered, which really solidifies our whole point. But let's not act like Steven Universe is the only show or piece of media that does align with our personal philosophies. It's just a perfect poster child to point to when we say what we are drawn to in animation. This week, we are talking about Moana, which Nina and I saw in theaters together, and haven't actually talked about since because we knew we had to save it for this show.
Right, yeah, which has been a while since we've done that. We're really sorry about the delay between episodes. I know things are kind of weird right now in general, but also with this show, as things are a little weird because it's just me and Nikki right now. We're not on a committed schedule, and we said we were going to talk about something else. We should probably just stop promising what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, like the goal was, like, I'm going to say what we want to do next at the end of this show, because we want to do it, but I don't know if it's going to be what's next. And that is, just to, it's Princess Tutu.
Yeah. It's
coming up, but who knows if it's going to be next. Because, like, our schedule, I want to get back to a solid schedule, but, it's harder now. Things are just weirder. I mean, I've got actually I've got a 9 to 5, 10 to 6 job now, like every weekday, so that helps on my end. But that's stuff that we should be talking about at the bottom of the show. At the top of the show, what we normally do is talk about news, and we've got a lot of it.
Yep.
Like last time, there have been big stories that have dropped in the interim, and a couple that we want to talk about firsthand. I feel like there were 2, but I can only remember offhand is that Young Justice got picked up for a 3rd season Netflix, right?
Something like that. Miraculously, like,
insane.
Nobody thought it was going to happen.
So insane it hasn't even sunk in. Like, I'll be excited when there's a release date or something, which there might already be. Like, I saw that and I'm like, oh, cool. I hope that's good. But like,
yeah, and like I don't know what direction they're going to go in, because the 2nd season was kind of a hot mess for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of... We talked about this in our episode. There's a lot of good stuff in the 2nd season, but they knew that they weren't doing great rating-wise, so they tried to wrap up as much as possible while still leaving in that dark side cliffhanger if they did get a 3rd season.
Yeah.
So... And I mean, I'm starting to get more and more skeptical about shows returning from the dead. It always sounds like a good idea, but it can really go in a bunch of different ways. Like, I don't have any investment in this, but our mother just watched the new Gilmore Girls stuff that came on Netflix and was pretty disappointed with it.
I mean, it's gotten mixed reviews. Like, I have friends who are also disappointed in it, and I have friends who just loved it, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I think there were people who were disappointed with Arrested Development coming back, which was a show that, like, people mourned forever was killed in its prime. Futurama wasn't as good after it came back. I think that's objectively true, although there were some of the best episodes they ever did were post-cancellation.
And it was still always very enjoyable.
It was still rock solid through and through, and like it wasn't pound for pound as good as pre-cancellation, the first 4 seasons, but there was, like, look me dead in the eye and say that the late Philip J. Fry wasn't one of the best episodes they did, and I will, I don't know what I'll do. I'll be put off, certainly, because it's frankly untrue. And the and the final finale was also amazing. It's the best finale they've done, and they've done several.
Yeah, I did really like the final finale. It was so cute.
Yeah, it was really, really sweet. So, you know, and like even like Samurai Jack, like we'll see. I haven't.
That's only one movie. So
that's different. Yeah. I haven't actually looked up much about the Young Justice thing, except that it's happening. Hopefully, the same people are involved because
they are. It's the same team, the same creators. Presumably, they'll get the same voice cast because they didn't have that many high-profile people.
They were high-profile TV voice actors.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will
chomp at the bit to play really fun, dramatic roles like that, because you don't always get to do that.
Yeah, Liz, I'm sure that they enjoyed doing that show. It was a very good show with very, very good characters. Yeah, I'm sure Carrie Payton is having fun on TT Go, but would like to be somebody serious again.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely is having fun on TT Go, but also, like, you know, as an actor, you just want some variety sometimes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye on it, but it's one of the things, like, I'm not at a point where I can get excited about it yet.
Me too, because I don't know enough about it.
I'm not necessarily skeptical. I'm honestly pretty neutral right now.
And honestly, even though I did rewatch season 2 for our episode, I still don't remember how it ended.
Yeah, actually, all I remember is the dark side bit. There was a really, really good fight scene with Arsenal and Lex Luthor in the parking garage, which to me was I think that's the best action scene I've ever seen in a superhero cartoon.
Really? I don't even remember that. I don't know why. Like, something about season 2 just won't stick in my brain.
I mean, it was all over the place.
How many times I watch it.
It was a lot less. It was a lot less tight. You can go back 2 years ago. We talked all about it.
So the next big story I want to talk about, and this is a big one, and I want to make sure we take our time with this and go through everything because I know a lot of people are upset. Cartoonhangover has officially announced their partnership with Verve, VRV, as their new platform for sharing their cartoons, their shows. Bravest Warriors, Bee and Puppycat, and all their future projects will be on Verve, not on YouTube. They made a video explaining the decision, saying that YouTube was an experiment. Fred, he was excited at the prospect of YouTube. The channel started years and years ago, but when YouTube was more unknown of a field, like YouTube animation was more viable. And as you know now, animation on YouTube is really dying because it's just not commercially viable. It's not, even for like independent creators, hence this explosion of Let's Plays, because that's kind of the only way to make money off of YouTube.
To give you a brief rundown of how YouTube ad revenue payouts work, and I don't know all the details about it, but what I understand is that ad revenue, your payout is determined by total hours watched across all views, and
yes,
which for animation is not a profitable thing because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of money to make 3 minutes of animation, and even if that gets viewed 1 million times, that's 3 million minutes. Whereas say you can make an hour Let's Play very, very easily. Like there is an artistry to it, but it is, in terms of hours watched and hours put in, it is very close to 1-to-1. It is actually the closest you can get, really, especially in anything that takes a lot of time, like a lot of a long video. You can make an hour Let's Play every day for really just an initial investment of some equipment that will pay for itself pretty quickly, and then you're good. And then of course the opportunity cost of that hour or whatever, if you want to get into economics 101.
Right, and if nobody watches it, it's different. But like, the point is that, you know, this was always an experiment, and they realized very quickly it just wasn't sustainable. They tried the Kickstarter to try to, you know, get some more funding to justify being on YouTube for free. And even that wasn't enough. to fully fund these programs. Not to mention all the merchandising they've been doing, because we've been asking for merchandise. That costs money. People aren't buying Puppycat plushes in the millions. And it's just not financially viable for them. And so they're saying, okay, we tried this. It was very fun, but we can't do this anymore if we still want to make these shows to the quality that we want to make them. And they're making them in the standard procedure that any cartoon is being made on TV right now. It takes about 9 months to whip out an episode of any of these shows.
Which is as economical as it can get.
Yes.
They're not,
They're not being like prima donnas about this. They're not like, we have to work on it more and add more money. Like, no,
they're not making red line. They're making stuff in like
industry standard,
in like Toon Boom and stuff, which is still difficult. It's the most economic thing they can do, and it's still very hard to do. Like, we've talked a lot about this, about how animation is very hard, very labor intensive, and very money intensive. And as none of us have ever done it, we don't really know the scope. We don't know firsthand what it's like, but we're sympathetic to the fact that it's hard and it's expensive.
I know conceptually what it's
exactly,
like. It's a lot of steps. It's kind of like a conveyor belt process. Animation came up as an industry art from its very inception or conception, whatever. And it's like a factory. You start with storyboarding and writing, and then you go to this and that and the other thing. And that's how you can put it on a conveyor belt and get a full season of episodes, 1 episode a week, after having this 9-month gap. But what this means for those of you who want to continue watching Bee and Puppycat and Bravest Warriors, which I imagine you do if you listen to our show, I do as well, you're going to have to create an account on Verve. Now, Verve does not require money to watch, but if you do have an unpaid subscription, you have to watch advertisements like Hulu, and Hulu still.
You have to pay the premium subscription to get no ads on Hulu, not just the regular subscription.
Here in Verve, there's only like 1 subscription. I watched the new Bee and Puppycat finale on Verve on my phone because right now it only exists as an app, which is unfortunate. They said they're working on making it on like desktop, like as a website, which is how I would prefer it because I don't really have it. I have a TV, but it's like a shared TV. I watch things on my computer. My phone is too little. I don't have a tablet. I don't have a gaming system.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not 14. Like there are kids growing up who just watch everything on their phone, and like that's fine for them, but that is a completely alien world for me. I'm not like begrudging them.
For me.
I'm not trying to be an old man about this and be like these fucking kids and their fucking phones, but like, I mean, this is a real thing. Kids don't use computers, really.
They don't. Hence why it was a smart business decision to start on an app, because that's how most of the people watch stuff. But I watched it on my phone. There were ads. They weren't as bad as when it was Hulu. I remember I used to watch Hulu with ads before I had the premium subscription, and it was insufferable. There'd sometimes be 4 ads every commercial break. Here it's only 1 ad at a time. It wasn't so bad. Not ideal, a little bit more than I would like. I would maybe prefer 3 ads max, and they were maybe like 5, which is kind of a lot. But it wasn't insufferable for me. For a lot of people, not possible. I at the same time I was researching the story, I got a text from my friend saying, you gotta watch the new Bee and Puppycat. Somebody leaked it on Dailymotion, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm gonna watch it officially. And they were like, no, there's too many ads. I hate it. We just don't like ads. But here's kind of the cool thing about Verve. And I'm actually, once they get it on a website where I can like watch and stream stuff on my computer, I'm going to subscribe to it. For $9.99, you can get an 8-channel combo pack, which includes Funimation and Crunchyroll. I already pay for Crunchyroll. Adding Funimation and Channel Frederator stuff, plus whatever other nonsense I get, which is a lot of other stuff, which...
This isn't part of the combo pack, but one of the channels in Verve is CISO, which I do want to get once that Bim Bam show comes out.
And there's like Machinima, there's...
like a pro gaming thing.
Yeah, like different stuff. But for me, like Funimation and Crunchyroll and getting to watch Bee and Puppycat for $10 a month, that's worth it for me. Because I already pay for
Absolutely.
Crunchyroll. And I've been wanting to, and I like to watch dubbed anime, and I didn't want to pay a separate $6 fee each month just to watch dubbed anime. This is a chance for me to watch everything for one bundle fee. I was just saying, like, we here on Toon Goons support these kind of streaming services. We understand that it's not something everybody can afford, but for us, because this is something that's very important to us, and because we consume a lot of this media, it's important for us to support it properly. This is actually kind of a dream come true for me. Like, it's kind of everything I want in one place.
Yeah, because here's the thing, is that as we're I think just starting to get out of the Wild West, but still definitely in the Wild West of different streaming platforms. Because there's a lot of stuff, and like, you know, we have a Netflix subscription, we have a Hulu subscription, we have cable because our dad can't live without it, so we use the on-demand stuff and that, and the cable logins to, like, say, watch the episode of Adventure Time that we're gonna talk about later, or the new Steven.
Yeah,
you
where
know?
I can stream Steven as it's airing on my computer with my parents' cable account.
Yeah, and like, you know, there's your HBO Go, you know, the Crunchyroll, the fun. There's all these different goddamn streaming packages. And so the thing is that if you want to watch everything you want to watch, you're paying like barely hyperbolically like 12 different fucking subscription services a month. And to put them in a package deal, like even like, especially because a lot of these ones that Verve is conglomerating are newer things. Like CISO is pretty new, and it's like, because like I ever since, you know, Mabim Bam said they were getting a show, and they're like, well, I'm gonna get it, but you know, it's just another goddamn thing. And the closer we can get to like cyber cable, the better. You know, it used to be that when you had cable, you had everything. You had everything for back before the internet. Like, cable covered everything that there was, except for like boxing and porn, where you had to pay extra.
Depending on your cable package, but like, for me, if this was its own separate thing, like if it wasn't a bundle, I would be furious. You know, I'd be so upset that I'd have to buy this new thing. But the fact that it's bundled in with other services that I already like and use, that sort of softens the blow for me. And for those of you who can't afford it, every episode of Bee and Puppycat and Bravest Warriors will be available for free streaming 30 days after its initial publishing on the website with ads. So you could still watch it legally, just with a bit of a delay, honestly. Which kind of sucks with the internet because there's spoilers and Tumblr and all this stuff, but it's still available.
That's honestly not, like, if you can't afford it, you still get it. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Like, it's not like you can't get it. It's not like it's being completely behind a paywall. You're never going to see Bee and Puppycat again if you don't give them your money. You will. There's some, you know, catches to it, but you will be able to see it.
And still be able to see it through a official release that supports the creators.
The only thing about it that kind of sucks is it's only available in the United States right now, which is a bit isolating to the rest of the world who also wants to watch this show. For those people, I understand streaming it illegally, because you literally have no other choice. You can't access this Verve, even if you want to pay for it. It's not available to you. Which is the same thing with Hulu, honestly. Which I don't know when people are going to, like, fix that.
Is Hulu still exclusive to the United States?
I don't know. I think so.
That's fucking insane. That's unacceptable. It's been around for, like, since I was in college, which is an upsettingly long amount of time ago.
If you live outside of America, let me know. I know it was initially. I don't know if it still is unavailable outside of the United States, because I can't even imagine, like, how do you watch stuff? Because everything's digital. So yeah, it is a little unfortunate. Like, I understand people being upset. Like, they were promised one thing. They were promised being able to have it on YouTube for free always. It's still for free. There are just ads, which they were supposed to be ads in YouTube as well, but we all turned our ad blocker on. So sometimes things have to change in order to exist at all. And Verve, personally, for me, is something that is actually very appealing.
I just hope it works, because it seems like this could also be an experiment, you know. Like I said, this is still the Wild West. Like, these are new platforms, and people are already subscribing to a bunch. Like, I feel like hey, subscribe to this new platform is a very hard sell for people. And if it wasn't for the package thing, I think it would be an almost insurmountable sell for most people.
Well, it's Verve is Crunchyroll owns Verve. The same people who do Crunchyroll own Verve, and Crunchyroll and Funimation have already partnered together on their websites. So like all the content you can find on Funimation.com and Crunchyroll.com with a premium account on both of those websites you can get on Verve, because it's all the same company. Which does make me wonder, like, I guess I'll have to cancel my Crunchyroll account because I'm not going to pay for a separate Crunchyroll account when I can get all of Crunchyroll on Verve.
Hopefully there'll be a way to merge it. Who knows?
Because, like, I haven't got an email that's like, would you like to upgrade to Verve instead? I think it's because Verve is still an app and not a website. Because my phone is teeny tiny, you guys. Like, I can't watch Yuri on Ice every time on my phone. Sometimes, but not every time.
Just when you revisit it 6 times.
Yeah. I need it to be big so I can see how pretty it is. Same with being Puppycat. There was a lot of shit going on, and I was, like, squinting at my screen, like, what? So that's that.
So what is the next thing?
Next thing that I found kind of interesting was that the Pokemon anime, which has been airing on Cartoon Network for a long time now. I think ever since WB lost it, it's been on Cartoon Network.
Which may have been ever since the rights changed hands from 4Kids to whoever's doing it now.
Pokemon is now going to be part of the Disney Empire. Pokemon is going to be aired on Disney XD now. They've linked a multi-year distribution deal with Disney XD, the Pokemon company has, making it the new network home for Pokemon animated content in the United States. The channel and its related platforms will run the 20th season of the anime series, as much of the previous Toon library, including the 19 previous seasons and plus 15 movies.
There's so much of it.
There is a lot of it. And this upcoming season of the show, which is going to be premiering on Disney XD in early 2017, is the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime, which is already airing in Japan. There's only like 4 episodes in Japan right now. I've been watching it. It's actually really cute. I like how a lot of people are really upset about the animation style being very different.
Are they?
But I find that, yes. I find that it makes the characters more expressive.
It's always been a very stiff show.
Yeah, and I'll prioritize movement and expressiveness over character model always. Hence why I like Yuri on Ice. So, that's fine with me. So yeah, it's gonna start airing the Sun and Moon series, which is pretty good. The Mimikyu episode and the Rowlet episode so far are golden. Like, it's so good.
I've seen that clip with Beware. Has that aired yet?
Oh yeah. Beware is funny too. That's the first episode.
Yeah. And this gives us an opportunity to talk about Pokemon Sun and Moon, which I believe is my game of 2016. Mm-hmm. I mean, Last Guardian hasn't come out, and like that has a chance if it doesn't fuck up, but we don't have time to talk about that.
Just one more bit about this. Yeah. December 5th, Disney XD will premiere the new animated film, Pokemon the Movie, Volcanion, and the Mechanical Marvel, as well as a sneak peek of the upcoming season with the debut of the first 2 episodes. It's gonna come real soon if you're in a Pokemon mood, which I am, because that's all I've been doing is playing the game.
I imagine a lot of people are, and like, here's the thing: is that this season has got it's got big shoes to fill. Because I don't want to spoil anything about the new Pokemon, because here's the thing: is that it's actually spoilable.
It's already very different. Like Ash is there, or Satoshi in Japanese, and like they're at the Pokemon school, and like a lot of the captains are like students at the school. It's very different immediately.
That might be the way to go, because here's the thing about Pokemon Sun and Moon is that it took them 20 years, but they finally figured out how to write like a really well written Pokemon game. And I mean like it's got an interesting plot, which isn't the most unique plot in the world, but it's certainly unique for Pokemon. But what's most important is that there are compelling characters in this game. There's extremely engaging dialogue in this. Like, this game bumps up and sometimes hits Paper Mario levels of writing quality.
That's still kid-friendly and, like, fun.
Yeah, hence why I say Paper Mario.
Yeah, it's not like edgelord, like, grr, it's dark Pokemon.
No, and I mean, it gets heavier than any of the other ones have been, but, I mean, like, the only time they've really ever tried a story of any kind was Black and White, which I will insist to the end of the earth was terribly executed.
And I will insist I found it captivating the whole way through, and I loved it. Sorry.
The story?
I mean, I like Black and White. I like the story, and I like the characters.
Okay.
Shut up.
All right. This one eclipses them all, appropriately enough, Moon Sun. But that might be what, if they actually make a third version this time for the first time in 100 years, I guess Pokemon Eclipse.
That would be cool if they made a third version.
Yeah.
For once.
Yeah, for the first time since Platinum. Well,
come on, Pokemon.
Because Black 2 White 2 is different, but whatever.
They were gonna make Z, but I don't know that they didn't. So they just kind of shoved all the Zygarde stuff.
That is true. That is true that all that shit was definitely supposed to be in a Kalos game. But, yeah, like, I guess what I'm saying, there's two things I'm saying. One, if you have been holding out on this Pokemon because you're like, another Pokemon, I like it, but I was pretty disappointed with X and Y. Like, this one is the best one they've ever made. It beats out Heart Gold for me. It's insanely good.
Really?
Yes. I mean, I haven't finished it yet because I've been busy.
Wow. I mean, it is very good. I am having a blast. It's.
And the other thing is that I wonder if the anime, even now, like, I watched like the first 6 episodes of Black and White in Japanese and had fun with it. But I wonder if the anime has the chops to capture the feel of this game. Because like the best way I can describe the dialogue is that everybody is really quirky, but in a very quiet way. Like, it's never loud about how weird it gets. Like all the trainers you fight are like total. I'm gonna say, like, all the trainers you fight are total psychopaths, but it's not like a big fucking deal. They say weird shit and then you move on to the next guy.
I wouldn't say the anime quite has that nuance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like they're trying to skew younger. Hence, with Ash's more like kind of redesign, where he actually looks like a child for once, like, and he acts like a child. And I like his baggy pants. I like his clothes. I think they're fresh and nice.
What I do have high hopes for is the Sun and Moon Pokemon Adventures.
Yeah.
Pokemon Adventures has always been where the best Pokemon stories are told, and that's because you can't write a manga. Well, you could, but the manga works because they put effort into characters, which the game has never really done. Like, before, you used to like characters because they had a cool design. Like, who's, one of my favorite NPCs? Cynthia, because she's got a great design and she's very, very good at her job.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest battle maybe in the entire series. People like Lance for that. People like everybody who's really enjoyed it because, like, they got a cool design and they've got cool Pokemon. Because Ken Sugimori is, like, the best in the fucking business. That was actually something I was just looking at all the professors on Bulbapedia, and I got to Professor Ivy, and I wanted to barf. Just because, by comparison, the anime exclusive designs fucking sucked. And Sugimori is so goddamn good at his job.
And he is on top of the game, especially with the female character designs in this game. I'm gonna kiss his feet.
Well, here's the thing, is that I think he might have a foot, the whole team might have a foot thing in this one. There's a lot of these boots are made for stomping shit happening. That's the thing about this game, is it feels like this game discovered sex and immediately got weird about it.
We gotta keep going.
But Nina and I might do a Poke Goons about this game, because I'm still floored by the fact that this game exists in the way that it does.
And I also just want to show off, I caught my Lunala with my first Pokeball that I threw, and it wasn't a Master Ball, it was an Ultra Ball.
Nice. I'm gonna throw a quick ball at it and just reset my game so I can say that I did that. Anyway.
All right, next up is Pinocchio is finally coming out of the vault. You know how Disney does this thing where they keep their movies in a vault, and if you want to buy it or watch it, you just kind of have to wait till they decide that you can?
Yeah, we had that whole campaign about Pepper Ann and Fillmore and like all these, late 90s cartoons they were doing. It was like, fuck it. Whatever.
Well, Pinocchio is finally coming out of the vault and will be available for the first time on digital HD anywhere on January 10th, followed by a Blu-ray and DVD on January 31st, with hours of new and classic bonus features. Pinocchio is Disney's second feature film, and it is still one of the weirdest ones I've ever done.
Is it? It's been a while since I've seen it. Does it avoid?
It's kind of
Does
unpleasant.
it avoid being problematic though? I'm trying to think, because all the stereotypes they use are of white. Like, Italians are still white people. Like, Stromboli can't really be called a racist caricature.
Right.
I don't think there's any other racist stuff in that movie.
I wouldn't say so. There's no black people or native people in it. It's not like Peter Pan or Dumbo. It's just really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie,
but very
creative. Movie about miserable things happening to a sweet tree boy.
Which is, I always thought Pinocchio was a really weird choice for their second film, because, like, that book is dark. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a dark comedy.
It's actually, I think, the original Carlo Capello or something. It's like parables, or maybe fables, parables about, like, always listen to your parents.
And there was also a lot of criticism about, like, local government and stuff, and it was just a weird book. Like, there's a chapter where Pinocchio tries to kill himself because he can't take it anymore by hanging himself, but he can't die because he's a puppet, and he gets hung by strings all the time anyway, so why would that kill him? And that's a joke.
Yeah, like
and Disney was like, this is the perfect subject for my movie.
A lot of the grim fairy tales were also fucking sadistic and psychotic, so...
Right. Yeah, but what's interesting about this release is that there are some new featurettes. There's Walt's Story Meetings Pleasure Island, in which Pixar's Pete Docter and Disney historian and author J.B. Kaufman explore artwork recently discovered in Disney's Animation Research Library, revealing some of the attractions, gags, and games which Disney animators created for this iconic location of the film that never made it on screen. Another new thing is archival recordings and interviews with Walt Disney about the film. There's also a Oswald the Lucky Rabbit short that's been recently restored and scored. It was from the 1927 short series. And, you know, your typical bonus features for kids. So if you're like an animation historian person, those interviews and like behind the scenes stuff might be worth it. I'm kind of curious about it. And Pinocchio is kind of a weird movie, and I might like to talk about it. Because
I'd be down.
As a Disney film, it always stood out to me because it's like, it doesn't really fit with any of the other movies, yet its song has become like the icon for Disney.
And they put Jiminy Cricket on everything.
Yeah,
Figaro became...
Yeah, it's an odd
Figaro is Minnie's cat now. They just kind of took that movie apart and just kept the shit they liked.
Well, I think like Japan really likes Figaro.
We can't.
I don't know.
It's so hard to dissect what Japan latches onto in Disney movies.
Yeah. Speaking of Japan, Funimation Films will be presenting their Oscar qualifying theatrical run for Makoto Shinkai's animated feature Your Name this December in Los Angeles. And there will be an official North American wide release planned for early 2017.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this film is that it's under consideration for Best Animated Feature category, which for an anime film is kind of rare, especially for a non-Ghibli film.
Yeah. And
it is the highest grossing film of 2016 in Japan, with a box office take of more than 173 million, surpassing the last two Hayao Miyazaki features.
It beat out Shin Godzilla?
Yes, it is the highest grossing film of this year, beating out Shin Godzilla and the mass gross of the last two movies Miyazaki put out.
What the fuck? Oh, if you haven't seen Shin Godzilla, I don't know when you can, but it is the best movie I've seen all year.
Once the DVD comes out,
oh my god, it's so good. Anyway.
Yes. But like, yeah, this is kind of like I hadn't heard of this movie, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Like, what? What's going on?
It's the seventh highest grossing movie in Japan of all time, beating out Avatar and The Force Awakens, which is nuts.
It's also the first anime feature film not produced by Studio Ghibli to gross more than $96 million at a Japanese box office. So this movie is shaking things up. It's making waves.
I feel like 96 million converts cleanly to $1 billion yen. Does that sound right? Or like 100 billion yen. Does that sound right to you? Something like that?
I know 100 yen is like $1.
Yeah, that's probably why 96 million is the metric they chose. Because I bet that round... Because it's not like an even dollar. I think that rounds to an even number of yen. Anyway.
Yeah, well, this is just saying $1 million, not
Well, they probably
yen.
converted it.
So it's 173 million American dollars of Japanese money spent watching this movie, which is crazy for a non-Ghibli film that kind of came out of nowhere. And it's an Oscar contender. So what is this crazy movie about? The day the stars fell, 2 lives changed forever. High schoolers Mitsuha and Taki are complete strangers living separate lives. Okay. But one night they suddenly switch places. Oh no! Mitsuha wakes up in Taka's body and he in hers. This bizarre occurrence continues to happen randomly and the two must adjust their lives around each other, yet somehow it works. They build a connection and communicate by leaving notes, messages, and more importantly, an imprint. I'm assuming that's like a mental imprint.
Or an imprint on each other's
Eventually they decide
lives.
When a dazzling comet lights up the night sky, it dawns on them. They want something more from this connection, a chance to meet, an opportunity to truly know each other. Tugging at the string of fate, they try to find a way to each other. But distance isn't the only thing keeping them apart. Is their bond strong enough to face the cruel irony of time? Or is their meeting nothing more than a wish upon the stars?
Pinocchio shows up. And Jiminy.
Pinocchio shows up and is like, hey, I have no strings to hold me down.
It like dominates the first, like most of the third act. It's really weird.
So this is kind of interesting. I've never seen like we're pretty familiar with this Freaky Friday trope, but it's rarely played seriously. It's usually a comedic thing that's kind of played as like a cosmic, like, you got to get your shit together, like learn a lesson about each other. These people don't even know who they are. They've never met. And I kind of think it's interesting that they're switching back and forth all the time. Again, usually in Freaky Friday, it's like a one-time deal, and then they have to figure out the secret to get back in their bodies, and then they're good, and they learn a lesson about each other. So this is kind of interesting, I guess. And I suppose the more romantic aspect makes it more immediately appealing and popular. But yeah, I wonder what it is about it that is making the Japanese go crazy and lose their minds.
Just to make something... To clear up something you said earlier, an Oscar qualifying theatrical run. All you need to do to qualify for an Oscar is to have a run, I think lasting at least a week in at least one theater in the city of Los Angeles within the year that you're qualifying, which is this like ridiculous loophole that like allows this movie will be seen by very few people in the United States and be up for an Academy Award.
Well, that's the way they do it, because that's how they promote people to go see it once it's released in 2017. Because they're like, oh, this movie was nominated for an Oscar. I should check it out.
We don't know what the nominations are yet. Like, I mean, Zootopia and Finding Dory and Moana are going to be in there.
Yeah.
This, hopefully, I feel like Kung Fu Panda will be in there as a good show of faith, but won't win. Which is, I mean, it's a shame because I think it is a very good movie, but DreamWorks is just not going to win in a year like this.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's just, if this was even the actual thing that determines who won, it's not the best animated movie that came out this year. It's very, very good, and you should all watch it. But
yeah, definitely, it was excellent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see about this Your Name. Movie. And last but not least, I just wanted to talk about this interesting project. It's called Tantratic. It is a Danish sci-fi femme online cosmic collision of animation, poetry, and music. That's how it's described. Project launched with the debut of a character journal, music tracks, and an animated video. It's kind of like a cross-media thing.
The video is called Svartsel or maybe Swartzel. I don't know Danish.
Yeah.
I don't know dick one about Danish pronunciation, but Maybe it's Germanic. Maybe they're V's or W's.
Yeah, it's a techno-melodic introduction to the project's high-tech meets highly feminine vibe.
I watched it. I watched
Alright.
most of it before the stream froze. It's very cool looking.
I like it a lot. I was like kind of mesmerized by it. Like I kind of couldn't
Oh, it's
away while it was
absolutely mesmeric.
The Tantratic is the brainchild of Jeanette Nogard.
I don't know what that. I don't know what that O with the line through it. I don't know what that means at all.
And
Anybody could lie to me about what that is supposed to say, and I'd believe them instantly. I don't know shit.
A writer and director educated at Denmark's The Animation Workshop, who's worked on other films Le Motif and Hund I Himlen, and she's developed the project in collaboration with Danish singer, producer, composer Jenny Rossender. So it's a Danish lady fueled multimedia collaborative project. It's techno crazy, weird, and mesmerizing.
Yeah, it's like cyberpunk
and
feminist sleaze.
Kinda, yeah. Like, there's not much of a plot so far. I haven't read the journal yet. I've only watched the video, but I guess I'll read the journal because it's, or listen to the journal. I guess I don't know. It's very hip. But I liked it and thought maybe you guys would want to check it out.
I think that's all of our news. Fucking gotta be.